Joseph, Jesus, and Mary, help my Pittsburgh Steelers. Help my Steelers tonight, Lord.
I never ask for anything, God, but my Steelers are in trouble.
Watch over my team tonight, Lord, and fire Matt Canada. Please, God, fire Matt Canada.
Dear Lord, something's the matter with Matt Canada.
Looks like we'll have to send someone down to Earth. A lot of people are asking for help for a man named Matt Canada.
Splendid. Is he sick?
No, worse. He is discouraged. He's led the Pittsburgh Steelers to their worst offensive performance in social media history. He's wasted the talents of a first-round quarterback. He's become the first coordinator in Pittsburgh to lose their job mid-season in more than 80 years, leading to the worst hell-raising season in history. That man is thinking seriously of throwing away God's greatest gift.
Then I've only got an hour to dress. What is he wearing now?
A straw cowboy hat with a Steelers logo.
What Yin's Talking About presents It's a Wonderful Yinzer Life. Sponsored by Hills Department Store, Iron City Turner's Iced Tea, and Highway Pizza on Route 40 in Hopwood.
Why even bother anymore? Fired just before Thanksgiving? My life's work gone. I'm Pittsburgh's biggest joke.
Well, you never got in a fist fight at Tequila Cowboy or destroyed a Sheet's bathroom.
Wait, who is that? Who's over there?
I'm the answer to your prayers, Matt. That's why I was sent here.
Todd Haley? What are you doing here?
I'm your guardian angel, Matt.
Guardian angel? But you're still alive.
I know, but the holidays are a busy time for protecting souls, so I volunteer with the big guy.
The big guy?
Yeah, the chief. Ridiculous of you to think of killing yourself over a team that still has a shot at the postseason.
Well, I don't know how I feel about being saved by a part-time angel.
You just don't know all that you've done. If it hadn't been for you...
Yeah, if it hadn't been for me, everyone would be a lot better off. Mike T, Kenny, DJ, Jalen. You know, why don't you go off and haunt someone else, will you?
You don't understand. I've got my job to do.
Oh, shut up, will you?
This isn't going to be so easy, is it? So you still think killing yourself would make everyone feel happier, huh?
Well, I suppose it'd be better if I was never offensive coordinator in the first place.
Well, you mustn't say things like that. Wait a minute. That actually gives me an idea. Yeah, that'll do it. All right. You've got your wish. You've never been coordinator.
Yeah, I like your attitude. Yeah, just act like it never happened. Let's see what Ben is saying about me. He always gives me the benefit of the doubt.
Welcome to another episode of Ben's Blunder, podcast about beer and regret.
What's the matter with Ben? I've never seen him act like this before.
You'll see a lot of strange things from now on.
I mean, look at Aaron Rodgers or Kirk Cousins. Quarterbacks rarely get to go out on their own terms.
If you could do it over, how would you have gone out?
I just wish I could have played the whole season and not got hurt that last year. I wish we had a coordinator in 2021 who maybe wanted to get rid of that ball quicker so I could have survived the entire season.
I mean, your arm was like a noodle at the end.
How cool would it have been to win that last game of the season at Heinz Field and just go around the stadium at the end thanking all the fans and then walk into the locker room for the final time with my family. Forget the Super Bowl. That would have been my storybook ending.
You see, Matt, you weren't there to make sure Big Ben got rid of the ball quickly, protecting him in his final season.
What do you mean I wasn't there? I remember distinctly. Say, what's going on around here? Look, who are you?
I told you, Matt, I'm your guardian angel.
Yeah, I know. You told me that. What else are you? Like, what? Are you a hypnotist?
No, of course not. I'm an Upper St. Clair Panther.
Well, then why am I seeing all these strange things?
Don't you understand, Matt? You've been given a great gift. A chance to see what the world would be like without you. You were never offensive coordinator.
Let's taste another beer. Oh, that's a big sip.
Without you, Ben had a different coordinator his final season, and his body paid the price. Instead of his Cal Ripken moment, he went on IR.
Now, wait a minute. This is just some kind of, funny dream I'm having, right? So long, Todd. I'm going to watch the Steelers play with or without me. Yeah, I'll take an Iron and Turner's.
The Kenny experiment is over. Biggest buzz since Mark Malone.
Are you kidding? This is all on Tomlin. He lost the locker room. His message is stale.
The culture died with Dan Rooney. Art should step aside.
Yins are crazy. If you don't think Kenny's a problem, I can't help you.
Oh, you want to back up that talk outside?
Will you Modell meatballs shut up?
Why is everyone so angry at each other?
Steelers Nation is divided. Without you, there's no single person to blame.
Hey, this season wasn't all my fault, okay?
You're not listening. In a time of divisiveness, you united the black and gold. Chants of Fire Canada echoed from Acrisure to the Horseshoe to the Lincoln Memorial.
Yeah, thanks for reminding me.
We always talk about peace on earth and goodwill to men, but this year, Steeler Nation actually set aside their differences in unanimous opposition to you. If you think about it, Fire Canada is just a new way to say Merry Christmas.
Hey, back up. Get out of here.
You just wrote a check. You can't cash, Jagoff.
I'm about to go Jack Lambert on your ass.
That's it. The cops are on their way. Get out of here.
Double yoy. At least now we can watch the game in peace.
Todd?
Yes, Matt.
Where's Jalen? Where is he?
Well, I can't.
I don't know how you know these things, okay? But just tell me, where is he?
I'm not supposed to tell.
Please, Todd, just tell me where he is.
You're not gonna like it, Matt.
He's dead, isn't he?
No! He's with the Showboats in the USFL.
No, wait, that's a lie. Jalen Warren should be an NFL starter. He's a bulldozer with a wrecking ball attached. He's the Steelers' offensive MVP.
Jalen never did those things. He was cut by Pittsburgh after his rookie year because you weren't there to call up running back screens on 3rd and 17. His talent never bloomed.
It can't be.
You see, Matt, you really had a wonderful Yinzer life. Don't you see what a mistake it would be to throw it all away?
No! Todd, help me! Todd, get me back! I don't care what happens to me. Just get me back to my jobless life. Help me, Todd, please. I want to live again. I want to be hated again. Please, God, just let me live in a world where I'm hated again.
Matt Canada? Is that you? What are you doing in the middle of the street?
What? What? Matt? What? So you know me? I actually exist? Yes! Merry Christmas! No. Fire Canada! Fire Canada to you!
Well, Fire Canada to you too, you nut. Hey everybody, Canada's having a Christmas meltdown. Fire Canada! Fire Canada!
Canada! Yeah! Fire Canada, Pittsburgh! Fire Canada to you, Mark Madden! Fire Canada to you, Andrew Filipponi! Fire Canada, you wonderful haters! Fire Canada! Isn't it wonderful that I don't have a job?
And have you seen the news? The Steelers are going to the playoffs.
A toast to Matt Canada, the most unique coordinator in Steelers history.
Every time a QB gets his bell rung, an angel gets its wings.
Fire Canada, everyone! And Happy New Year!
Yoy!
I'm not gonna worry about your level of concern.
Yoy and double yoy!
We talking about
Twitter.
Triple yoy!
think of how stupid the average person is, and then realize half of them are stupider than that.
Quadruple yoy!
We're not urinating on the fire, man. We're always trying to get 8 pounds in a 5-pound bag.
Who's coaching this ball club? Mike T.
Would you believe that 8 out of 10 people think they're on Santa's nice list? Only 1 out of 10 say they're on the naughty list. If you are on Steelers social media, I couldn't find 8 people to put on the nice list in all of social media. 8 out of 10? And you're like, oh, well, you know, your social media posts are different than in real life. No, you know, you are the person that you tweet as. And you're like, well, who's keeping tabs on that? Certainly not Santa, right? Well, I see you when you're tweeting. I know all your hot takes. I know if you've been bad or good, and you've not been good, Steeler Nation. You've been naughty. You know, let's just get down to it. Maybe it's not, maybe there's something in between naughty and nice. But you ain't been nice. And it's time to get that coal in your stocking. It's what Jin's talking about. Christmas 2023. Hope you enjoyed our little annual Christmas card to you, or maybe you tuned out by now. Maybe it's already. Maybe you didn't even make it this far. Well, hope you heard those ads. I'm Kyle Kreis here in Wet and Wild, Universal City, California. There will not be a white Christmas in LA this year. Shocker. In the 412, already tailgating for the Cincinnati game, right? Are you at your tailgate? That doesn't look like, unless you're in an RV. Greg Benevent.
Well, no, I'm not. Thank you. I'm not quite tailgating yet, but I do have my Steelers Christmas hat on, which only comes on very special occasions.
Right? Does Santa wear Steelers colors on? Of course he does.
Right. Oh yeah. No, I have my black robe over there. Yes, absolutely. He does in this household.
In the second half, I don't even want to talk George Pickens. Everyone's talking about George Pickens. God, I want to talk about the Steeler we should be talking about. There should be a Christmas story here that the Hallmark Channel would die to have the rights for. We'll talk about that maybe in the second half. But not George Pickens. Maybe we'll talk about George Pickens. Maybe we'll, Scrooge is always a popular Christmas story. Oh, do we have to get to the? It's Christmas. Do we have to get to the takes? Gosh.
It's a shame, but we probably do.
Right? You know, just like Santa, always trying to get 8 pounds in a 5-pound bag. Let's get to the takes. Nope. Let's start it off with at the 412 kid, Bryce. My Santa of the season. I get a lot of flack for being a homer, and I've been called a blind fan, but I don't care. I just want to say that degrading the coaching staff and players on the internet will not make things better. They're human just like we are. I promise there's better years ahead. You wouldn't know it's the Christmas season by looking at social media. Where is all that goodwill toward men, peace on earth, unless we're talking about football players and coaches. I don't know. I guess there's no real comment here. This was my 'tis the season.
No, this was the nicest sentiment I saw. I mean, I'm so glad you highlighted this. It's a worthy sentiment that doesn't get pushed out there enough. I mean, the closest I came was that, you know, in the wake of the loss to the Colts, as from what I saw, many of the most vociferous haters joined with many of the supporters to yell at Devin Bush. That was the closest we came to like an actual positive thing, and I don't think that really counts.
Oh, right. Devin Bush we don't even know. He had some laughing or something, some skulls.
Yeah, after the Steelers lost, they definitely sent out a mocking tweet. Even the haters, that was a step too far.
I didn't even see that. That didn't even get on my radar. So, and I tried to stay off the internet this week. It was just like I knew.
Good for you. Good for you. That's a good thing.
Because guess what? It's Tomlin hater season. I guess when unleash hell means unleash all the demons and devils to run foul among the Yinzers here. Because let's go to at the Mike Doctor, James Lawhorn Jr. Should Mike Tomlin be fired at season's end or allowed to finish coaching contract the last year of his contract? It's like, everyone's acting like it's just inevitable. Like, oh, well, is it going to be now? Is it going to be at the end of the season? Or is it going to be at the end of next season? How hot is the hot seat?
I mean, it's hotter than it's been, but that doesn't mean it's actually hot. I mean, this has been the first week where I thought it wasn't impossible that they might actually do something stupid at one point. But the likeliest thing is still that they extend him at the end of the season and they use that as leverage to get in another offensive coordinator, and they take it from there. I find it very hard to believe that the seat is actually hot, that they would do anything about Tomlin, but I very much don't want them to do anything about Tomlin. It's very hard for me to believe that with the very first losing season, should that come to pass, because it's certainly not guaranteed as of this Christmas, pre-Christmas night, that I find it very hard to believe that they would actually do this.
Right? It's like we're acting like this has been, 6 years of 2 and 14 seasons or something. We're not even. We're knocking on the door of the first losing. Not there yet. Not out of the playoffs yet. Never been. Never been out of playoff contention before Christmas, except one season, I think. I mean, with 17 games, what does that really mean? And 7 seeds, but still, never out of it before Christmas, which you can't say about New York or. Maybe that's it, just New York. I don't know. The Tomlin haters, though. Let's get to maybe the worst take of the week. Where is it? Here we go. Is this it? Yeah, at PGH Steelers Now. Former NFL scout John Middlecoff thinks Mike Tomlin should want to be fired to get out of Pittsburgh. I think Mike Tomlin should want to be fired at this moment. I was like, is this a real quote? So I was like, let me go to the source and let's hear the sound for real. Did he really say Tomlin should want to be fired?
I think Mike Tomlin should want to be fired at this time, at this moment. What? Like, where they're at. Like, it's just time. I've been fired twice. Best thing that's ever happened to me.
Been fired twice. Best thing that I don't know who John Middlecoff is necessarily. Maybe best thing to happen to him would get fired. But Tomlin is the premier. He's at the pinnacle of the premier sports league. I don't think he has greener pastures to go to getting fired from Pittsburgh. He should want that. Why wouldn't he just quit then? If you want to get out, just quit. Right? He's not being held hostages. It's hostages v. volunteers with him too.
It's not like this is a job where, like, if Tomlin quits, he won't get like workers' comp, or unemployment benefits afterwards. Like, it's I don't know. I was struck by when this man was telling us about how he getting fired twice was the best thing that ever happened to him. That we're talking about a former scout who's now just doing analysis. And by analysis, I mean just like, wow, just loading up the hot takes and like catapulting them. I had not heard this take yet, but this is
I laughed at
Tomlin
that.
should want to. Yeah, exactly. Tomlin should want to be fired is a new level of hot takery for me.
I used to be an NFL scout, then I got fired, and it was the best thing that happened because now I've got a podcast. Weird takes. Want to be fired. Weird takes. What is it? Could it be? Could there even be anything weirder than that? I think there might be. How about? Oh, I'm doing everything with one hand here. At HRC5 Snipers. HRC5 Snipers. If Mike Tomlin taking the ball first in a must-win game doesn't warrant him to be fired, then this organization is effed. Who cares? Before we even lost to the Colts, he should have been out the door just for taking the ball after the coin toss. That's the attitude. That wasn't the only take. You're like, oh, that was just one take with 5 followers. No. There was a handful of Steelers fans who thought that the game was over based on the coin flip, which I think they punted their first. I'm thinking the second half. They punted the first possession of the second half. So it wasn't. When it didn't give the Colts an advantage in that fashion.
Right, exactly. And also, again, this is a game where the team jumped out to a 13-point lead. I mean, so whatever they were doing in the first quarter was working. But yes, I mean, I am glad you highlighted this because this is the kind of like crazy take that breaks contain now that the team is struggling. Like, this used to be like you said, you'd think this was just one very weird person, but no, now that the team is having a season where they're fighting through it, something like this just like gets out of the holding cell and can like infect the greater public.
It's just it makes me think there's more to it. I would almost say that if you're judging based on the coin toss, you might be prejudging, you might be prejudiced in some form or fashion. I don't know. But let's talk real, because this was, I'm not letting him off the hook as far as this was a loss in a must-win game. Let's get to how bad it was. Whoops. Mm-hmm. Oh, come on. Is the screen not working? What? Oh, the screen is not working. Come on. There we go. Will he edit it out? Probably not. What? Stupid. Come on. Technology. I might actually will edit this out, maybe, at least on the audio. Watch YouTube for all the behind the scenes. At Scott Caxmar. Scott
I have
Caxmar.
no idea how to say that person's name.
Steelers, Mike Tomlin has lost 3 games to rookie head coaches by 14 points this year. D'Amico Ryans in Houston, Jonathan Gannon in Arizona, Shane Steichen in Indianapolis. Tomlin has won 1 of his last 56 games by 14 points. This is pretty damning. Why is he losing to rookie coaches, rookie quarterbacks, backup quarterbacks? Is it that this? What is it? Is it that this is the Super Bowl for Jonathan Gannon in Arizona? What is it?
I don't know what it is. I mean, the Houston game is in retrospect a little easier to deal with, because that was obviously not necessarily the coming out party for CJ Stroud and how the Texans are a genuine playoff contender, a team to get into the playoffs many years ahead of where folks thought they were in their development. If the Steelers, had, for example, had hit the Texans now and lost to them, that would be seen in a very different light than it was at the time, as one more blowout by what they thought was a bad team. I mean, the Arizona loss. I mean, that one's going to be as ugly as any. I assume that the one rationalization would be that this was Kyler's second game back, and that they're a very different team with him versus a bunch of different quarterbacks. But man, this one and the Colts game are hard to stump. I mean, just because the Colts were playing so many back. I mean, the Steelers certainly have their injury issues, but man, the Colts have so many as well.
I mean, we were talking about, was the Pats game the worst? We've been talking a few times this year about the worst loss of Tomlin's career. And I look at the Jets last year, and this was kind of similar. We had a over 10-point lead and blew it.
Yes.
I don't know, where does this, where does this rank? I mean, there's been 3 games this year that have been among his worst losses.
And the last 3 in a row. I think this one's the worst. I mean, Thursday Night Football, you should win because you're at home. But it's still weird. Mitch Trubisky going against Bill Belichick. So I think this is the worst one. Also because this happened and they had, 9 days to prepare. They had the mini bye week. This was a must-win game. And they came out, they got a big lead, and then they folded very, very quickly and completely. And
we can't verify that that's true, but it
certainly
sounds right.
Yeah. What about... Let's go on to, oh gosh, where's the Twitter sound? Right there. How about at C. Adamansky Trib? The Steelers are officially eliminated from winning the AFC North. That means over a 6-season span, they have 1 division title. Only other time that's happened since the merger was 85 to 91. No division titles in 7 seasons. What is that important to how do you feel about division titles? I'm more like playoffs is really what you need to make, and you win a division that's nice. You get a home game, you get to hear Renegade maybe, but. I don't know. Is this, can you compare this era to 85 to 91?
Well, I mean, I wasn't really following the team in that time. I only know about it, what I've heard from other people. And it seems like there were a lot of similarities in terms of, the team searching for an identity and maybe not necessarily having, its own way to win, its own way to, an offensive identity, that kind of thing. I tend to agree with you. Get into the playoffs. That's what matters. I mean, there's a reason this is the first franchise to have won all playoff games on the road. That became a lot more common later on, which just does show how not necessarily meaningless a division title can be, but that there's more to it than just getting this division title. But it does show that, the team hasn't been winning as much as it had.
Let's get to the final word on Tomlin. I'm going to give the final word to one of his players, because what's the reality here? It's like, it sucks that we're on this losing streak, and it seems like it might be Tomlin's lowest point in his career, although we said that 2 seasons ago in 2021, kind of pulled it around. We kind of said that last season too, kind of pulled it around. So to be determined with 3 games left still in the playoff race. So I will give the final word on Tomlin. Will I? To at Dat Dude Nix, Roosevelt Nix, Rosie Nix. Coach T used to come up to me every day, and I mean every single day. Didn't matter if I was by myself or around people. When he seen me every day, he would say, "Just make sure you justify your existence today, Rosie." And what maybe my point is, even if this is a losing season, Art is still going to want to extend Tomlin, because it's the qualities. Everything outside, despite the losing season, it's things like this, like Rosie Nix being inspired every day by something Tomlin says. And we've heard it again from, Ray McLeod to Ryan Clark, you name it. I don't think anyone has talked ill on Tomlin. You know, maybe Troy Polamalu, who says nothing, who doesn't seem to be a Tomlin fan. But, you know, when the players who played testify, listen to him. Does that make him a player's coach? Whatever. I don't, you know, this is what I say about Tomlin.
Well, and moreover, this is good advice to take forward in your own life. I mean, I try to listen to this, whether it's at your job or whether it's in something else that you do. I mean, I'd missed this because years ago I had to unfollow Rosie on Twitter because he was rooting very hard for the Columbus Blue Jackets in a playoff series against the Penguins. But I'll have to go back and follow Rosie again for insights like this.
How about you know, Jason? I'll let Jason La Canfora get the final
and that's
word
the
in.
one that's Tomlin's buddy, right?
Is he Tomlin's buddy? Okay.
I think so.
Because he kind of I thought had put a cold shower on spoiled Steeler Nation here. Don't you want to open? Why is all the technology not working today? Oh, come on. Why is nothing working? Oh, because is that not a... Well, you're not going to hear it. Well, you're not going to hear it. Not every coach has winning seasons. You know, I know you guys are in this cocoon where you've had 3 straight guys basically do nothing but that. Noel, Coward, Tomlin. That's not the real world. Guys have losing seasons. It doesn't automatically trigger their termination. So... That's
yeah, no. This absolutely. I mean, this is, and again, this losing season isn't totally locked in yet. But if it does happen, it will not be a 2-15 losing season, and it's they do have pieces that they can grow with.
All right, we're going long. Let's get to the second half. We'll talk about George Pickens, I guess. You know, God, I don't care. You know, I don't care because there's other things to worry about. Like, we got to win this game against the Bengals, and then we got to win the game against the Seahawks. You know, a player's being pouty. It's like, is there even time for that right now? But we've had a special press conference, the emergency press conference today because of George Pickens. So I guess we'll talk about it. We'll spend our Christmas show talking about it. Okay, coming up in the second half.
According to legend, little folks know Hills is where the toys are.
Hills Toy Layaway, just 10% down, a small service charge. Lays away toys, little and large. Hundreds of toys. Express layaway too. So layaway's even easier for you. Remember, Hills Toy Layaway. One reason they're different and why they say
Hills is where the toys are.
At low prices every day.
All right. If you're still with us, you are merry and bright. It's the second half of what Jin's talking about. The topic on everyone's mind seems to be one George Pickens. Let's get to the takes. At A Saunders _PGH, Alan Saunders. I have no idea how the Steelers move forward with George Pickens after today. How can he face the rest of the offensive huddle? How can Jaylen Warren not want to kick his butt? How can he so blatantly disregard Mike Tomlin and carry on? We're talking about did he steal the Christmas from Whoville? What did George Pickens do that was so he gave some, I don't know what, he gave some comments that people, I don't know what the context was. What is it all about those?
What he did was he didn't block. I mean, he distinctly didn't block for Jaylen Warren on the play that could have resulted in a touchdown. And when asked about it, he said that he was trying to keep himself from getting hurt, and he cited another play which is very dissimilar.
So, I mean, is that a 4-alarm fire? Is that we got to throw up all the, get everyone to the positions for emergency presser here?
Well, I mean, I was a little surprised by the emergency presser too. I mean, it's obviously not a good look, and it's something they have to address. But I mean, it's not something that can happen again. I mean, you can't like give up during the game, just quit when you're out there. So I mean, it can't happen again. But,
or what happens if it does? Who else are you going to put out there? Are you going to put Calvin Austin out there with the season on the line?
I mean, they are kind of in a position where they have to use George Pickens. I never thought he was going to get like benched or they were going to give him some kind of discipline like that. But I mean, I don't know what they can do to get him to not do this. But this is also where Tomlin can use his powers as a player's coach to get George to want to play for him and to want to do better.
Yeah, I mean, what's going to change it around is probably winning, and if that means you got to get him the ball somehow, we're talking a wide out screen on the first play of the game. I don't know whatever you got to do, and I don't. That's and it's not like they're not addressing it, right? I mean, part of the conversation with the media was like, did he or did Tomlin not talk to him about it? And I think that part of the discussion might not exactly have the full context.
Yeah, I think that's right, because I think the reason people asked him about that was that George implied that the meeting, Tomlin said they had a meeting, and then George said, no, we didn't have a meeting. And then Tomlin came out at this special emergency press conference and said, actually, we had 2 meetings. So I don't know. Again, as tight as everyone's schedules are when they run a football team, I don't know how there's time for 2 meetings. But yeah, I mean, they also got Pickens the ball plenty on those first couple drives in Indianapolis. I mean, I don't know how much more involved they have to get him. But yeah, this is I think. But also this, I'm always willing to cut people a little bit of leeway on this kind of thing because they've been burned by AB, who was, of course, a million times more talented than Pickens, and and obviously achieved heights that Pickens will most likely not reach. But man, I mean, people saw AB truly fall from grace, and I think there's a bit of a trauma response in a lot of these messages from people.
Let's go to at Colin Dunlap. Mike Tomlin's approval rating, especially in Pittsburgh, is as low as it's ever been. He probably won't win many back. I wonder why. But if he has any hope, he must make George Pickens a healthy scratch on Saturday. Otherwise, it's the same old stubbornness and why Steelers are in this mess. If he does, he must make him a healthy scratch, or else the fans are going to be more ticked off at Tomlin. The fans who already want Tomlin fired are going to be more ticked off if they don't bench the number 2 receiver.
Yeah, that's a weird take. I mean, it's I mean, obviously it's just, you're out there take farming, but I mean, say that they had benched Pickens, all these people that were saying you should do it would most likely find their way to the opposite side of that take rather quickly, particularly if they lose this Saturday. If they'd benched Pickens and then the team had lost, you would have not heard about the steeliness of Tomlin. You would have heard about what a terrible decision that was, the worst coach ever, et cetera, et cetera.
They know better.
Yeah. What are the real reasons why we're bad? Are there some real reasons? I think there might be some under-discussed, under-conversated, let's get to at Alex Kozora. Of the 42 qualifying O linemen this week entering Sunday, the 3 worst PFF pass grades, Dan Moore, Broderick Jones, James Daniels. 60% of the Steelers line is at the bottom, a literal 0 for James Daniels. Quarterback play is obviously bad, but is there obviously a connection to the O-line? Is, at least on offense, how much, I don't know, if you had to say O-line versus quarterback play, what is your distribution of wealth there?
I think the distribution of lack of wealth, the distribution of welfare, I don't know what you'd call it. I think in this particular game it was as bad as ever because the line didn't play as badly against the Pats or against the Cardinals as it did against the Colts. That was, I mean, the line wasn't, a string of Hall of Fame performances against those other 2 teams, but it was better than this. I mean, it's Broderick Jones, for all his talent and the fact that he does deserve to be out there, does seem to still have these games where he'll be real good one game and then not so good the next. So, I mean, obviously that's something you'll take with a rookie here, but James Daniels, there's no excuse for that to be 0.0. I mean, it's, again, I don't put a lot of faith in PFF ratings, but 0.0, I imagine you get that for a reason. that doesn't. I don't have to agree with the methodology to figure out what 0.0 actually means.
You get 10 points just for putting your name on the paper.
Right, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. For not false starting, you get 10 points. Right. But yeah, so this is one were they beaten? Were they out schemed? It does seem like what went wrong with the offense here is an all of the above on Saturday to the Colts.
Are we ready to start putting some of the blame maybe on Omar Khan and the great Philadelphia hope Andy Weidel? You know, I mean, they overhauled this offensive line, brought all these guys in. It's turned out to be, you could say, some could say it's turned out to be a big whiff.
Well, I mean, it's of these guys they brought in what? Jones. I mean, they didn't bring in Dan Moore, and did they bring in Daniels? I don't even remember now. This is Daniel's second year, so I think of these guys they only brought in Jones, and it's very hard for me to give up on him after a bad game and some up and down play.
All right, what about is this the bottom line? To me, it might be. At Blitzburg, the Steelers are now without both their starting inside linebackers and safeties. Just great. What are you supposed to do? We're playing preseason lineups out there in hell-raising season. We've seen, how many years past we talk about Robert Spillane can't cover anybody. Well, now it's not. Now it's Mark Robinson and Michael. I don't know. Michael with a Q. What's his name? Michael Walker.
Was it Walker?
Yeah,
I think it was Walker. He's at. I mean, for me, it hit home. I think Eric Rowe was going to start at safety this weekend, and all the all the tweets and posts saying that they couldn't find one with him in a Steeler jersey. There's one of him as a Dolphin. There's one of him as a Panther, but none like in even like the practice jersey.
Is this a more dilapidated defense than 2021? Remember 2021, we were playing the Here We Go song with Daniel Archibong and Henry Mondeau. But even with TJ and Alex out there, and that's it. It's TJ and Alex and no one else.
Yeah, I mean, it's because Cam's not 100%. He really isn't. But he's still out there. So yeah, this very well might be. I mean, that there's been this many. I mean, and to a certain point, and I don't know how many Steeler teams have hit it, but other teams have. There is a point where you can lose so many guys that this just doesn't work. Like there's just kind of not a way forward. And hopefully that's not the case, but it's not impossible either.
If you listen to the interview last week with the Tomlin author, he was saying that, and then I kind of noticed this is the first year where it hasn't been next man up. It's been we've faced some attrition, and it's almost been like there's too many next men up anymore. We've had to get rid of that philosophy.
Right. Oh yeah. Because the next man up, you have no idea who it is. It's some guy that was on someone else's practice squad a week ago. It's one thing to have next man up, but the next man up, that's where the problems lie.
Yeah, someone starting who didn't even watch Steelers this season. So
right.
Let's get to this should have been the Christmas story of the week. Mason Rudolph. At Steeler Nation, Ramon Foster played with Mason Rudolph. He says, we already know what he is, and the decision to start him is asinine. This should be, it's like the season is on the line. We're turning to Mason. He could redeem his whole career in one game. We'll forget about the tie in Detroit. We'll forget about getting benched the Duck season. We'll forget about... I don't know, the massive machine gun pics on Instagram.
And then getting knocked out the Jets game at struggling that whole season. Yeah, no, I mean it's what I do feel confident about Mason is that he's not going to turn the ball over as much as Mitch, and that's going to give them the best chance to win on Saturday. So that's why it's asinine, but it's a kind of asininity that we're going to have to roll with.
Yeah, I don't love it, but
What, Oh, I screwed it up. I was going to say, I don't like it. I love it. But whatever. I need to edit. There's going to be a cutting room floor for this one. All right. Can we just get to the band that's trying to get on the field? What a Christmas show we're having. Christmas and well, we're putting up against a 2-11 podcast right now, I think. I don't know. All right, let's get to just a couple. How about something very merry and bright for our Yuletide at R.A. Pooley. R.A. Pooley, former NFL superstar Antonio Brown, graduated from Central Michigan University yesterday. He attended CMU from 2007 to 2009. AB trying to turn it around. He got his degree. I guess it's not that hard. If AB found time to get his degree, when did he? I didn't see him hitting the books on Instagram at all.
No. He wasn't like, giving you his favorite study tips or asking for them on there. But I mean, again, if nothing else, it's nice to see an Antonio Brown story or tweet that does not involve the words arrested, charged, or assault. Like, it's just this is a nice story and good for him.
All right, let's do the final word to. It's at Steelers Shop, and they're advertising the just dropped the limited edition OVO collection. We've got the Steelers OVO Owl short sleeve shirt. If you get this under the tree this Christmas, this is a trap. Do not return this directly to sender. Do not wear this to the game. This is a jinx. Greg, you brought this to my attention. This is the Drake clothing company, OVO. But Drake is a known jinx. Do not get him involved in Steeler Nation, especially during hell-raising season. If you get this Christmas, it's a $78 T-shirt. So if you get this, I got some land to sell you in Universal City. Are you getting any Christmas gear?
I did not know that Drake was a jinx, but I mean, it's no stretch of my imagination. I sent this to you in the context of why is this T-shirt $80?
Are you getting any Christmas gear for Christmas? Are you getting any Steelers gear for Christmas?
Yeah, probably. Almost assuredly every year I get something. I don't know what yet, but it'll be something decent, I'm sure. Hopefully, it's another pair of slippers. I go through about a pair of Steelers slippers every few years.
I bought myself the Tomlin book, so I guess that was my Christmas gift to me. I put up the I put up the tree for the first time in a few years, and I didn't have enough Steelers stuff. I realized I had the Garfield in a Steeler helmet, Garfield the cat. Nice. That was cute, and then I just had like a Steeler wreath. That must have been a gift. I wouldn't have bought myself something boring like that. All right, well, Merry Christmas, Steeler Nation, and Happy Holidays if you're not religious, and season's greetings if you're depressed. So, if you want to keep the conversation going, I am on TikTok at Kyle Kreis, trying to get to 1,000 followers so I can go live. Greg, where are you on social media?
Unfortunately, I'm on Instagram at Greg Benevent, B as in boy, E-N-E, V as in Victor, E-N-T.
Next week, we'll be back. I don't know, nothing to tease. It'd just be more of your hot and toxic takes. And,
yes.
When am I going to, when am I going to give up on this? It's like, if they do fire Tomlin ever, maybe that is when I just throw in the towel and just be like, give up on Steeler Nation. It's like, not feeling very merry. What's that?
We're a long way from that.
Yeah, exactly. 3 games left. All right. Hell-raising season continues. Until next week, keep listening to your coach.
Be their best selves. That's going to be required.
Stay in school.